Could you tell me more about the soul's journey? I've heard you say things in other interviews like it's for the evolution of the soul, and I'm just, thinking if more perspective was given on the soul's journey.
Well, the first thing we would say is that the soul's journey is an eternal one. An eternal one. And we say that right off the bat because, again, understand that when we have these conversations, a lot of times many that are listening are looking at or perceiving our answers or perceiving these philosophies through the mental human construct. And that can be difficult because the human construct thinks of a journey as a linear, in terms of a linear timeline. A linear timeline. And so if we were to say, well, the soul's journey is eternal, well, that kind of messes up that perception of linear, because in terms of a linear timeline, there's usually an end to that linear timeline. And so we say the soul's journey is eternal right off the bat so that we can kind of shake things up a little bit in your mind to understand that when you go on a journey that has no end, it's for the experience of the journey. It's not to get to a destination, which is kind of similar to what we were talking about before in terms of achievement and trying to achieve something, trying to get somewhere. That is really a human thing, trying to get somewhere. And so when it comes to the soul's journey, it's not about trying to get somewhere. It's not about trying to achieve something. It's about it's about having an experience. And what is the experience? It's the experience of the illusion of disconnection from source energy. It's about that experience of disconnection, which is really not, you're never actually disconnected. You experience the illusion that you are. So you have that experience of disconnection because when you return to your full connection, you have a greater understanding of who and what you are as source energy itself. So the soul's journey really is this journey of journeying into illusion of disconnection so that it can return to connection and know itself to a greater degree or a greater level. And so there's an evolution that occurs because the awareness of Source's awareness of itself has expanded with every incarnation or with every experience. But understand that this is an ongoing process or an ongoing journey. And why? Why would this journey unfold? Why would this occur? Well, you have a word in the language of Sanskrit called lila, which is play. It's about play. And so we often speak of that as why would the soul, people ask us, why would I even put myself through this? They're experiencing their challenges, their little human challenges, and they ask, like, why would I put myself through this? Well, it's actually for the fun of it, the play of it, the joy of it. Because when you disconnect from your awareness or your remembrance of source, and then you realign with or remember yourself, there's a great amount of joy. The joy that you actually are is expanded because you have this realization now of what you are not. So you've experienced what you are not. Now you experience your realignment with who you truly are. And so the soul's journey is the individual journey of that. So source individuates to have an individual experience of that. So source is experiencing itself through all these different perspectives. And as it does so, it expands and unfolds and evolves. So that is the soul's journey. But again, it's an eternal journey. So don't think of it as there's a destination where I'm going to get to one day where I'm enlightened. It's not really like that. The soul is incarnating and then returning back to source and then incarnating and then returning back to source. And it really is, you may not believe us, but it really is fun for you to do that. There's a lot of joy in it. Maybe not in this very difficult human circumstance, but when the return or the remembrance happens, the degree of joy that unfolds in terms of the remembrance is almost always equal to the degree of forgetfulness So when you have a particular lifetime that is extremely difficult or challenging or dark, when you return to source, the degree of your joy is usually equal to the degree of that darkness. And that is one reason we would say to those who have no idea, they can't conceive of why they would be going through such circumstances. Well, that is one reason. In fact, it's the main reason. It's because you actually choose it to make the return to source that much more magnificent. It's kind of like going on a higher and higher roller coaster. The higher the roller coaster, the greater the thrill when there's that drop, right? And so again, we say it's about the experience. We mentioned before the purpose of life, experience, expression, and evolution. So you experience life, you express your soul energy through your human construct, or sometimes you incarnate as other beings, but through the construct that you incarnate as, and then you evolve. So that's the soul's journey. But it's difficult for the human mind to conceive of that because the human mind's thinking of, what is the outcome of this, right? What is the outcome of this journey? And it's more about the journey itself. When you recognize that while you're still in the human experience, that's a beautiful thing to recognize because it helps you be more present and not always thinking ahead and trying to get to some place in the future.